Mount and Blade Bannerlord. The sequel to the astounding medieval RPG, Mount and Blade Warband, is an even greater representation of the world back in the day. What happens in this wiener suckling land we call home is almost entirely up to you, the player. Burn down the nearby village. Maybe execute everyone you come into contact with. Perhaps be Mr. Nice Guy and gift the females everything you own. We all know the last one doesn't really work in real life. Oh, just me? Oh, okay. Anyways, the choice is yours. Me? I wanted to be king. But not just any king, no. I wanted to be the king of all people wanting to shoot pointy sticks from other sticks with strings on them. The rules are the simples. I can only use archers in my party, and not these pussies with horses. Every archer in my crew has to have a massive foot fetish. I'm also allowed to use recruits until I can upgrade them into foot fetish archers. The only people that can use a horse in my party are me and my companions. The rules also only apply to my party, so if I am in an army with other lords, they can use whatever the fuck they want. But these boys, I won't allow, because I don't associate with giant pussies. Will I succeed in bringing out my inner Legolas, or will I succumb to the game's anal prodding as it completely bugs out, bringing out my inner teardrops instead? It will be one of the two, or will it be both? Let's find out. Can you beat Mount and Blade Bannerlord with only archers? To start our ranged adventure, I had to choose a culture and then create my character. I made myself a Battanian because they have the best foot archers in the game, and I'll be in their area for most of my time in this godforsaken land. I tried my best to make my guy look like the sexiest of all the sexes to have sex with other sexes, but as always he ends up looking like an autistic potato. I thought maybe it was a unique genetic problem my character is facing, but it turns out the rest of the family was just pulled out of the dirt as well. Anyways, I put all my skill points and training into anything that had to do with archery, leadership, and tactics. I then named my spud boy extremely appropriately, being a fine gentleman of this time, and made sure the difficulty was as hard as possible. Everything is realistic, and there will be no leaving the game without saving, because I may be a potato, but I'll be damn sure I'm not a pussy too. I skipped the tutorial after finding out some mother of bitches killed my potato mom and dad, and then took my little potato bro and sis. Big Potato Bro and I came up with a plan to find them. I would raise some men and establish a clan while he continues to search for them. When creating my clan, I had to come up with a name and a banner. I wanted the world to know two things. 1, circumcision is always bricked up, and 2, I like bows and arrows. I then set off officially starting the game and the most fun challenge I've ever done. My first real goal was to recruit some men to protect myself against looters and bandits and whatnot. After recruiting a few men to join me crew, I was immediately caught and attacked by these mother of bitches. I was hoping my recruits, along with my amazing archery skills, could take them, but
these mother bitches, sons of my bitch,
could take an arrow to the knee better than some others in another faraway world. And it resulted in a fine fucking from behind for me and the boys. I was now 0 for 1 on my journey to kingship. They killed my men and took me captive. I would have thought that when they saw whatever creature I was, that they would have put me out of my misery, but no, they wanted to keep me around as a pet. I eventually escaped and made a run for it to try and rebuild my 4-man army, and I found 2 men willing to serve this beast, but was caught by more bandits. I knew how it went last time and didn't want to make the same mistake, so I bribed them to fuck off. I know, I am a pussy. This brought great shame upon my family, and I don't mean the bricked up potatoes. My real dad was deeply disappointed in the discovery of my giant vagina, although I can't say the same for my uncle. The next task I gave myself was to take the trip into Battanian land, which was no walk through the park. I had a far distance to travel, and we saw how I handled those mother of bitches from earlier. They made me the bitch. Anyways, the journey ended up not being so bad. I just had to find some places that had more than one recruit, and with enough men in my orgy group, I was able to take out some looters, receiving my first victory. Just needed to go after the easiest targets in the game and kill a bunch of dudes with no shirts. I was then able to upgrade some of the recruits into archers, and the real challenge could begin. I eventually made my way across the world to the land of the Battanians. Something seemed strange though. As I was trying to recruit men at the villages, there weren't just normal recruits. It was either recruiting people that were already archers, which is honestly perfect for what I'm doing, or the Battanian volunteers, and I wasn't sure if they were just recruits or melee people, so I just recruited as many of the archers as I could find. This was going to become a slight problem later on, by the way. Once I had some more archers, I was finally able to fend for myself against whatever shirtless dudes came all over me and my men's faces. Oops, sorry, wrong script. The early game, for the most part, was pretty simple, and it all has to do with renown. The more renown you get, the more men you can have in your orgy. And then you make a name for yourself, which then eventually allows you to join a kingdom. That was my goal for now, to eventually join the Battanians. The early game all came down to this routine. Go around to lords getting little quests they give you, grind for a while killing all the looters and bandits in sight, recruit and upgrade as many archers as possible, sell all the loot I get from the fights with the shirtless dudes and the bandits, win a shitload of tournaments. Well, shit. God damn. I said win a shitload of tournaments? Shit, son. Win a shitload of tournaments? Shit. I said win a shitload of fucking tournaments? Shit. Win a shitload of fucking tournaments? Fucking finally, Jesus fucking Christ, why am I so fucking ass at this game? God damn, I'm so fucking Jesus fucking jeez. Shit. Yeah, win a shitload of tournaments and participate in as many as you can. It's a great way to get good money if you bet each round and win. Winning is an important part of that. Then progress the plot by talking to lords about the banner shit and the past war shit. To be honest, I don't really know if anyone actually pays attention to what they're talking about during the story. And then attack the occasional hideout that gives you good-ass loot to sell if you win the battle. Again, the important part is winning. Some dumbass decided it would be cool to put a typing menu button on T right next to the camera changing button, R, make it so you can't fucking move, so I once again got fucked. Once I started building up a name for circumcision, I made a shocking realization that left me ineligible to be part of the Bricked Up clan, as I no longer was so. I realized that all of these Battanian volunteers that I've been seeing can't even upgrade into archers. I thought they were like normal recruits. The Battanian recruitment system, like me, is completely fucked. You see, they don't have recruits that you can upgrade into either archers or other classes of troops. You can either recruit archers or melee units straight up. That isn't the worst part of it though. Most of the villages don't even have archers for me to recruit. So a lot of my playthrough is going to be just me figuring out which of the villages have archers for me to recruit and which ones don't. And most don't. Even the big towns are against me. There isn't a single Battanian town that has archers available to recruit. Towns only have melee units, so that makes things a lot harder for me, and not in a good way. So now I had to deal with that, and my asshole being clenched the whole time now from the stress it gave me knowing it may not be a fun time here soon. The best thing for me to do is find the villages with archers and do tasks for the landowner that provides said archers. This makes it so he likes me more and he will allow me to recruit more archers from him at once. Like this guy wanted me to go around killing groups of bandits for him. So I satisfyingly pelted a bunch of cock-cores with endless amounts of arrows while losing little to no men for my own orgy, and it made him like me more, resulting in more archers for me. It's a win-win. After a long time of grinding, I realized the last thing I needed to complete my quest to establish the Bricked Up clan was to hire a companion. So I went searching and hired this Iron Belly guy, but it turned out he was kinda ass. He was just a good fighter and didn't really provide any good skills to the orgy I was creating, so I stripped him naked and threw him out on the curb. So the search for my sex partner continued. I found this scholar guy who had a nose for craftsmanship. I hired him and made him the orgy's engineer. I of course gave him a bow and arrow, and then sold some shit to get my money back up and completed the quest to establish my clan. My next objective was to save my little potato bro and sis from
The bastard mother bitches over there.
that took them. I attacked the hideout that they were being held at. It didn't go well. Second time is always the charm though, right? I saved the potato fam, then found out how overpowered Big Potato Bro is. I took him into my orgy and made him the quartermaster, which overwhelmingly increased the amount of men I can have in it. Then finally, after grinding for hours and hours, I was made a mercenary of the Battanians. This is the first real step to joining them for real. Because of this, I got a huge head for some reason and decided to venture into shark-infested waters. Leanna's bitch ass fucked me up and took me as her demented prize, to probably show all her Vlandian friends how retarded I look. I eventually escaped and ran away back to the homeland. But now my orgy is no more. I found my scholar engineer friend and grinded my way back up by hunting down more shirtless dudes and going on a recruiting spree for more archers. I lost some more tournaments, and after hours of grinding and build my orgy back up from the ashes, I joined my first siege with the boys. You know, a normal Friday night. During the siege, I just controlled my men, in which were all archers, and as usual at this point in the game, I took enough arrows up my ass to the point it was too much and started to hurt, causing me to say uncle. But in all, it worked out. I have no problem taking it in the ass for the boys to eat that W. After the super successful siege where I definitely didn't get fucked, I was trying my best to get this circumcised peen out of there, but Leanna's got a thing for the special needs and just had to capture me again. But I decided I didn't want to go with her again. So I let my giant gaping vagina expand even more and sent troops to get away. Uncle's smile grew larger, and I'd like to offer my sincere apologies for being such a pussy once again. I just didn't want to have to rebuild my orgy from the ground up for a second time after just doing it recently. Once I was out of there, I went on another little recruiting spree, farmed some more looters by turning them to Swiss cheese with all their arrows hitting them at once, and got in my first giant battle. I ran in for the assist with my nearly 40 archers. We had a few more men than they did, so the battle went about as you would expect. I stood toward the back with my archers and shot the shit out of anyone we could shoot the shit out of. We won pretty easily, not a whole lot thanks to me, but I got a good amount of renown for it, and I'm ready to actually hold my own against real enemies. The game at this point changed for me. I was out of the early game and moved up in the world. Mid-game was essentially this. I went from riddling shirtless dudes with arrows and losing an endless amount of tournaments, to riddling whatever enemies we're at war with that has less people than me so I know I won't lose, and winning an endless amount of tournaments. That and constantly recruiting what few archers I can find across the lands. I also joined whatever big hard battles I could find when I had help. I would do the same thing every time in those big ass battles. Let my friends attack while I hang back with all the archers, and then shoot the shit out of them. It seemed to do the trick, at least for now. This usually made it so that I didn't have to lose a bunch of archers for my orgy, and the lords that I saved liked me more. This was arguably the most fun period during the playthrough. I had a blast in big one-on-one battles. Just my orgy against the enemy's orgy. My strategy in the battles went like this. When I had more men than them, a lot of the time they would try and hide out on a hill waiting for me to come to them. Well, that's a pretty big mistake because there is no way in hell I'm ever going to come to them. So I would just hang out at a distance and just shoot the absolute shit out of them until they got the message and had to attack me. So they would slowly come walking towards me with their shields up while their cavalry came charging in immediately. We shot the shit out of the cavalry on the way in, and even if some did manage to make it to us, I made sure to protect my archers, and we made short work of the horsemen. Any archers that they had would usually be dead already at this point, because while they're hiding on the hill and attempting to use the 10 archers that they have, they don't realize those 10 archers are nothing compared to my 70. So after their archers die in the first 2 minutes of the battle, and the cavalry blindly charge in leading to another quick molestation, it's now time for me to take care of the bulk of their force, the infantry. They slowly walk in with their shields up, hoping to eventually make it to my men in one piece. This method for them is actually working, and all the thousands of arrows we're putting into their shields isn't taking out all their men. So I had to get up to them and get either their shields to lower or get them to turn around. So I would simply go up behind them, myself, and attack them from the rear. This caused them to turn around to defend against me, and as soon as they turned, ever so slightly, they would get obliterated by 50 arrows from the back, from the constant barrage from my men. Even if our forces are even in number, or they have more men, the strategy is usually the same and it almost always works. They may not hide on a hill like pussies, but it's always the same concept. Let the cavalry charge in and we take them out while I protect my men from them. I usually keep my men in a tight stance whenever they're being charged so they can defend better by being closer together. Then I put them in a loose formation when they don't have to defend at that very moment. This allows them to be better at using their bows and arrows. Then the infantry walk their way down with the shields. I get behind them, and maybe kill a few archers, and then get the infantry to turn around. When they get close to my men, I put them back in a tight formation so they can defend, and by that point, there usually aren't many infantry left for us to take out. So I usually end up not losing many men. Battles like these are truly the most satisfying shit of all time. I love doing these little battles at this point in the game, and it truly made all the work for this video worth it. Finally, after grinding and grinding for so long, King Caladog finally made me an official member of the Battanians. I am no longer just a bow for hire. This means I have moved up far in the world and increased my renown greatly, and I can now own lands. I then increased my orgy size to 86, and the king gave me a huge task to take Uthalame Castle. I went and scouted it and realized I needed a lot of help. I decided to make my big potato broski a leader of his own orgy within the bricked up clan so we can take it together. But in doing this, it takes him away from my current orgy and he can't be my quartermaster anymore, making it so I can't have nearly as many men in the orgy as I used to be able to. So I needed new companions to take his place. I hired Bidal to be my surgeon as he has good medicine skills. I hired Rua to be the orgy's first female. She also just so happens to have great leadership skills, so I can use her in the future as another possible orgy leader as well. I hired Dinan the Swift, so Rua will no longer be the only female for all the guys in our archery orgy. And she has great stewardship skills, so I can use her to replace Big Potato Bro as the quartermaster. And finally, I hired Gunterick to be the scout, because why not? I of course give them all bows, by the way. This then allowed me to make Big Potato Broski an orgy leader, and there are now 2 huge orgies in the bricked up clan led by me, Circumcision. It was now time. I was all ready to go in and take my first castle. Deep down, I was really hoping they would give it to me after I take it, since it's only fair I'm doing all the work. I really wanted my first castle, and it was finally coming soon. Hopefully. But out of nowhere, they gave me some other random castle I didn't even realize we just took. So yay, I guess. I'll take it. They kind of halted my plans for the other castle, though. But before I carried on with my besieging task of Uthalame Castle, I needed to manage this new castle I just received, Flinthold Castle. I made Rua the governor, because she's not really doing a whole lot for the orgy at the moment, and put a nice garrison in my castle for its defense. After I got that place taken care of, I was once again ready to take Uthalame Castle. So I called for some help from Big Potato Bro and the other cheap lords that didn't cost much right to rule for me to summon them. When my help came, I found out some other peeps were already trying to take it, but it seems they were caught by surprise from another big orgy. This made me grrr. So I came in for the assist with my bazillion archers. Then after we won the huge battle, for some reason it said I completed my quest to take Uthalame Castle. But I'm looking right at it. Nobody took shit. The castle is still clearly held by the purple dudes. It also didn't give me the 20k I was promised. Now I was getting pissed, so I decided to just take the place and hopefully the game would be fixed. I just sent my troops in because they only had 3 men defending the place, so I took it pretty easily. Now I know for sure I took the place. But did it help? No. Did anything change? No. Did I get my money? Damn well I didn't get my money. I didn't get shit. All that time and work for a ham sandwich and a fat middle finger from the fucking king. The game fucked me. This is all a little preview for what's to come towards the end of the video, by the way. Luckily, they did end up deciding to give me the castle for my effort, so that was a little something, I guess. I'll take it. I now own Flinthold Castle and Uthalame Castle, which both turned out to be prime real estate specifically for me, because the villages surrounding them have an abundance of archers for me to take into my orgy if I need them. My next task I decided to give myself was to find myself a wife. I decided to go with Leanna because her ad on her dating profile wasn't half bad. She is the same bitch that kept pounding my ass with a huge black leather strap on from earlier in the game though, but her ovaries seemed like they were in good shape. I decided to forgive her because she's a good candidate for making babies. I ended up finding her here. I fuck her up in a tournament to impress her, then she thinks I'm creepy. This is the most realistic game ever made. Fuck me, dude. Let's try that again. So my next task I decided to give myself was to find myself a wife. I decided to go with Arwa because why the fuck not at this point? I went on a long ass journey to find her and it left me hungry and broke. Again, this game is way too fucking realistic. I ended up finding her way down here and all I had left was the clothes on my back and the dildo in my ass. She must have been into some kinky shit though, because somehow she was into me. This shows you that she is the only one for me. Now that I wooed the girl, I needed to rebuild my, everything basically. I've still got the men and the castles, but I am broke as fuck. I have no money and no food and no friends and nobody who cares about me and a shitty job and no clue what I'm doing. Again, the game's way too realistic. Anyways, I needed to get money. I can't even marry her without a bunch of money. Did I mention how realistic this game is? But for real now, I need that sweet cash now and there's no JG Wentworth for me to call in this world, so I had to go back to grinding. I went on a search for Stravlandy and Surmurder. Met with our Zagos to talk about the banner stuff, like the main point of the game, but kinda not really, He said I needed to find the other 2 pieces of the banner. I knew I needed to go talk to the other chick for looking for the banner stuff, but before that, I had to deal with a whole bunch of BS. See, the Vlandians took this big town of ours, Car Banseth, so I had to go in and do it myself. I raised an army and took it back. I, as usual, got my ass handed to me in the battle, but the rest of my boys avenged me and we won with ease. But those
bastard mother bitches over there
didn't give it to me. It would have been a real succulent real estate opportunity being a big-ass town right in the middle of the Battanian land. But then onto some more BS before I could find the banner pieces.
These mother bitches, sons of my bitch!
Tried to take Uthalim Castle from me, but me and my arrow boys were able to somehow hold the defense of a lifetime against the big-ass army of
Albanian mother bitches.
It turns out it's not the easiest thing in the world to attack a castle guarded by mainly the best archers in the game. We just sit on the walls and shoot the absolute shit out of them while a few others hold them on the ladders. I did my part throwing big-ass rocks at people too. Once the force was held back and I was able to regroup another big-ass group tried to take it from me. I was getting pissed at
These mother bitches, sons of my bitch!
So I got some friends and we took the fight to them. I might have only had like 10 guys in fighting shape at the time, but still, fuck them. Then those fuckers attacked my other castle. Why the fuck are they just only targeting me? It's gotta be some kind of war crime, right? Luckily, my friends came to help and we taught my bullies another lesson. Then they attacked Uthalim Castle again. What the actual fuck is going on? It's like high school all over again. Thankfully, I didn't have to fight this time and we made peace before they attacked, but still, what a bunch of fucking cocks. After all that bullshit, I was finally able to make it over to Istiana and get the second banner piece and learn the location of the third piece. I headed to the hideout to murder a bunch of unaware bandits and got the last piece of the banner. I needed to go back to Arzagos now that I have all the pieces, but before I do that, I realized I have plenty of money to go get some bitches now. So I headed down south to marry the chick I talked to for about 30 seconds. Once I got there, I realized how much Arwa catfished the absolute shit out of me. Who is this in front of me? It is not the same person. She looks like a 40-year-old with a 13-year-old's face, with Down syndrome. I thought for sure Chris Hansen was going to come out from behind the curtains. Nevertheless, I did all this work for her, so I might as well just get it over with and marry her. I paid her dad a lump sum, and just like that, we're now married. Nothing else to it, really. I thought maybe I'd get like a high five or a good job from someone, but nope, just pay the dad and it's done. I mean, makes sense, I guess. Once my marriage to the 13-year-old catfish with Down syndrome was successfully consummated, I headed back to Arzagos to let him know I got all the banner pieces. He told me I should now be called Bannerlord. I think I've heard that somewhere before, huh? He said I can now make a kingdom, but in order to do that, I needed to get my clan to level 4, and in order to do that, well, let's just say it was going to be grind time. I needed to increase my renown a shitload. So that's what I did. I would get up every day and grind for hours with my archer orgy. It was just a non-stop recruiting spree followed by any battle I could find myself a part of. But this battle here was the most satisfying shit of my entire life. I mean, it was so satisfactory I had to buy a new keyboard due to this sheer stickiness that came from all the little kids I got on it during the fight. All that gamer gunk in every nook and cranny. This scene was perfect. I had my 130 archers going against their 128 men of different varieties. Like my keyboard was soon to be, our battle was on a visually perfect snowy white field. The best thing about it was the river separating our two orgies and the bridge being the lone way across. Now here's the thing. I have all archers and they don't. They get to come to me. We sat there at the end of the bridge and waited as they slowly made their way across to me. There were 50 arrows flying every second, a non-stop rain of death with their shields as the umbrellas. I took care of the few cavalry that they had as they charged desperately towards their ultimate demise, and watched as the purple bar at the top gets smaller and smaller as their men's shields slowly start to drop. By the time they made it to my archers, their troops were cut down to about a sixth of what it originally was. I began attacking them to force their guard to drop, and my archers finished the job. They truly stood no match against Circumcision and his bricked-up clan. I continued to grind with battle after battle. Eventually, every Chad does have to lose a fight though, and that's exactly what happened to me. I failed. I got fucked, and it turned out a lot worse than I would have liked.
These Albanian mother bitches.
Took me captive, but I was eventually able to escape. Only it might not have been a good thing, honestly. I was in the heart of the enemy's territory and I could only move about a half a mile an hour because I got so much shit in my inventory and so many horses, and I'm the only one in the orgy. So it was either be slow as shit or lose all my shit. I chose to be slow as shit, and well, shit, this may have turned out to be a shitty decision. Shit. I needed to make it back to Battanian land, but I was quickly caught by looters. I was luckily able to fuck them up by myself, but it didn't mean much because I was caught by some mercenaries soon after. I tried, but I couldn't take them by myself, so once again I was held captive. I ended up paying
The bastard mother bitches over there.
some money to set me free. I once again tried to make a walk for it, but easily got caught by another army. It wasn't going well for circumcision or my sanity. They took me once again. I then paid more money to get out, but then got caught again. I actually did have some help this time from a fellow broski, but we still got fucked. I got taken for a fourth time. I honestly don't even know which time it is anymore. I can't even keep track. Anyways, I once again paid to get out, but then for a gazillionth time I was caught again, and this time by the same
Mother bitches.
that just took me. I paid another fortune to get out, got caught by some looters while on the run. I took them out by myself, thankfully, and finally made it back to the safety of the Battanian lands and immediately started my recruiting spree. After all of that, all I have to show for it is my ability to lose a shitload of money trying to get out of prison. I should have just got rid of the fucking horses. I could have just bought twice that amount with all the money I just lost. Now that I was back home and safe for now, I had to rebuild my archer orgy from the ground up once again. Once I got a big enough force, the grind continued. My only goal now is to gain enough renown to make a kingdom. Epic battle after epic battle after epic battle after epic battle after epic battle and days of just straight grinding. I still wasn't there. Fuck. But then finally, after some more epic battles, I made it to Clan 4 and was now ready to create my own kingdom. I completed all the tasks given to me by Arzagos, and it was finally time. The only thing I needed to do now was declare my independence and create the kingdom. I made all preparations and relinquished all my holdings and castles because I didn't want the Battanians to be all pissed at me. I honestly should have probably just said fuck them because I really needed a castle in order to make my kingdom, and I ended up just getting them all pissed at me anyways because I just took Uthulame Castle 10 minutes later and then made peace by paying a decent paycheck so they wouldn't keep attacking me. So that was just a huge waste of time anyways. Now I meet all the requirements. I have enough money, I have enough men, the bricked up clan is now level 4. I have a castle, and I am now independent. I went to speak to Arzagos, but there was a problem. There was no option to talk to him about making my kingdom. In the actual quest, it said I could make the kingdom from the clan menu screen, but there was actually no option to do that there. I remember from my previous playthroughs, there is supposed to be a big red button at the top of the clan menu screen that says Create Kingdom, but it wasn't there. The game was fucked. I was fucked. This video was now fucked. I succeeded, but yet I didn't succeed. Fuck me. I went to go talk to the other chick, hoping if I spoke with her, she would help me out making kingdom, but with her, I needed to capture a settlement in the Empire. So I headed out and decided to take this random-ass castle I found in the Empire's territory, since it didn't have many people. I successfully took it and now had the Imperial castle I needed, but now I had another problem. When does it fucking end? I was completely out of food, money, and the willpower to keep trying. And on top of that, they were actively trying to take back the castle that I had just took, and they had too many men for me to take them on. And on top of that, I couldn't make peace anymore because my money was gone. I was ready to give up and say good enough. It's the game's fault, not mine. So that's what I did. I called it. There was no other option. I kind of legitimately failed the challenge for the first time. Or did I? You see, I was completely done with this playthrough. I was done for weeks, actually. Almost a month. But while I was editing and looking through the footage, I realized something. I am a dumbass. See, here's the thing. Do you remember towards the beginning of the video when I said, then progress the plot by talking to lords about the banner shit and the past war shit? To be honest, I don't really know if anyone actually pays attention to what they're talking about during the story. Well, I'm definitely not one of those anyones, and I really wish I was. See, while I was editing this video, I read some of what someone was actually talking about in the story. This person was Arzagos, an important person in the story. He actually explained exactly what I needed to do to make a kingdom. The quest and the game were lying to me all along. What he said was that when I was ready, I could instruct the governor of my capital to let everyone know we were now a kingdom. Is that really all I needed to do? Could my playthrough be saved? I had to find out, so I headed back into the bricked up world to hang out with circumcision for hopefully the last time. Once loaded back in, I immediately made my way back to my old home away from home, Uthulame Castle. all while abandoning the new place I had just gotten, knowing there's nothing I can do to save it. I made a pit stop to sell a bunch of my shit and bought some fish and grain for my men to have a nice meal during the trip. Then we made a beeline straight to the castle, stopping for nothing and nobody. All I cared about was making it there before somebody besieges it. I just needed to talk to the governor to make the kingdom. Well, hopefully. I made it in time and went straight to talk to Rua the Wanderer, and there it was. It said it. Holy shit. It is time to take a momentous step. It is time to proclaim a new kingdom. Those are the words I've been waiting so long to see. I named it appropriately considering how fucking ecstatic I was at the time. I fucking did it. I made my own kingdom using only archers. I thought all was lost, but King Circumcision of the Bricked Up clan saved the day. Now I think we all have learned a valuable lesson from this. It pays to pay attention. See, we're out here getting bricked up and learning life lessons in my videos. I'd like to thank every one of your cutie patootie faces for watching, and if this video got you going as much as it did for me, absolutely destroy that like button and then very delicately tap that subscribe button with your pinky toe to join my bricked up crew. And as always, stay classy out there.